Hello and welcome back to TCR here on Phoenix SimSport, and today you join us for round 3 here at Oulton Park. My name is Yanis Mayer, and as usual I'm joined in the commentary box by none other than Arthur Bellin. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Well, I'm doing great. Another round of TCR. Sadly, I missed Solder last week, but we're here at Oulton Park, which will also deliver some great racing.
Absolutely, and some stunning views as well. Often quoted as one of the most scenic race circuits in the UK, let alone the world, although I don't think it quite rivals Spa and Nürburgring yet. But it's definitely out there. It's definitely out there. So yeah, welcome back. It's round 3 of 10 here for season 17, and we have got a championship battle in the works between none other than our current reigning champion Marcel Miku and a previous season challenger Tassos Sklias. But at the moment, Marcel Miku is not on the top step. Can you believe it? He's currently 20 points behind Tassos Sklias. However, he's got the opportunity today to make up that gap, since Sklias has decided to not race in today's round. So there is potential for double points bonus, so to speak, for Marcel Miku. He's going to close that gap a lot easier today if he can get some good results in both races, as opposed to just one big 45-minute race. But I mean, twice the race start, twice the better race kind of time, I guess you could say, for Marcel Miku. We both know his starts are amazing. Do you reckon that could play into his hands today?
It could, but Oulton is very much a driver's track, so it is easy to make mistakes. Miku has been driving very well, throughout the week in different categories, but anything can still happen, so he'll have to really, really be careful.
Yeah, it's going to be that balance between risk versus reward. If he can get some consistent finishes above his competitors, that'll be fine. I think the only driver he really needs to keep an eye on is Christian Grzybowski, who at the moment has set the fastest lap time of a 1:42.391 and is sat. He set the fastest first sector as well, so it's just going to get faster and faster. But Marcel Miku himself has not set too bad a lap time so far, as it comes across the line now with a 42.515, the fastest third sector, but I think it was an invalid lap time, so that doesn't quite count towards his efforts yet, and that still would put him behind this man in the other Honda TCR. A bit of a change of scenery for Christian. He used to drive the Cupra last season.
Yes, he did, but I mean, still rocking the same nice and consistent paint scheme, which I personally quite enjoy.
Yeah, it looks lovely. I do like this paint scheme, and we've got a couple of other cars on the circuit all sporting this same colour scheme, Tassos Sklias being one of them, as Christian Grzybowski comes across the line to set yet another flying lap, a 1:42.111. I should also probably explain the format for this evening, because I realise we're about 7 minutes deep into qualifying and you guys have no clue what's happening, unless you've been here before, such as for round 1 or the whole of season 16. So for those of you who are new here, or maybe just want a little recap of tonight, we've got 10 minutes of qualifying, now 3.5 minutes of qualifying to go, followed by 2 20-minute sprints. So that means probably no pit stops unless you've properly messed up. I can't see that happening very much, but of course anything can happen this race. We've seen all sorts of carnage happen, especially at Watkins Glen last season. But yeah, so give us a breakdown of how the season's gone so far, Arthur. I'm aware you weren't here for last race, is that right?
I wasn't here last week, but I was there in round 1, which was, first won by Sklias in race 1. Race 2 then was taken by Marcel Miku. After that round, they were equal in points because they both scored a P1 and a P3. Pretty eventful round there at the Kazan Ring. By looking at the results for Solder last week, not the best race for Marcel Miku, who finished P9. He also used that as a drop round. But for the rest, we still have our usual drivers. Narasto opted not to drive last week. I think he did the commentary, I'm not sure. So after a lackluster round one, he'll definitely be trying to bounce back here today.
Absolutely. And I'm just also looking at Vasilis Penetsis, also rocking the same livery as Christian Kazbowski. And last season he wasn't really up there in the standings, but tonight he seems to be pretty up there. He used to have some really good fights midfield, but it seems as though this season he's been given it his absolute best with a P4 and a podium finish on his second race this season.
Well, I mean, sometimes it just works out, really. Sometimes you have those seasons where all of a sudden you've got it all nailed and then all worked out, and then you're just flying, honestly.
I mean, it seems to be the case for Tesa Sklias almost every race now. Marcel Miku, I think just slightly unlucky sometimes, maybe not quite able to pull in the consistent results or as consistent as he wants to get. But from the sounds of last season, it did seem like he's finally got that setup tuned in now. So he should be the most comfortable with a car he's been since like forever, which could lead to some good performances, and has so far this season, except for obviously last week where he finished P9. And at a track like Oulton Park, I think being comfortable with your car setup and being comfortable with driving your car lap after lap, that's going to be key for today.
Yeah, and I mean, might I say, the top 10, it's a 1.8 gap. It's a 1.8 second gap separation, so I think we're going to see some amazing battles here today. I know also Sleven, but round one wasn't Kazan Ring, that was my mistake. Also Sleven, also very eventful. I mean, we had a car rolling there, flying up into the air, so we might see that again today. But it just shows that anything is really possible in these cars.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I have been wondering when we're going to see a car roll, so I'm glad it did happen at least. Well, I mean, not in that, like, just in that sense. No other, I don't want to see anyone else crashing or whatever, but I did think we were going to see someone roll the car at some point, just because of how these cars are able to take curbs, that drivers then end up overestimating their abilities and putting it straight into a sausage curb, which launches them about 2 meters into the air. I've just been waiting for that all season long last season, so I don't know, maybe we might see some more. I mean, like you say, this track has got all the elevation changes for it.
I mean, I heard Narashto or Petralia say before the race that they were testing a solder solder setup for this, and I mean, despite not being shaped the same, I think you can kind of compare the two tracks. A normal amount of elevation change and quite a few chicanes. So I think this might be a solder comparable in my opinion.
It could be, yeah. But there do just seem to be so many elevation changes, so many camber elements of the circuit to keep in mind as well as a driver, that if you can take advantage of that and you know the circuit inside out, you're going to find the time in those really small areas. So, yeah. But then there's also just not as much curb to abuse as at Zolder, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if the setup is fairly similar, then we can maybe expect a similar performance from these guys as to last week.
Yeah. I must say about Solder in the sim, the bouts in chicane, the second apex there, in every sim it's so high, but in real life it's fairly flat, so really hope that gets fixed in future racing titles.
I mean, it's the sim track is never going to be exactly the same as the real life track, is it? I mean, I noticed that when I went to Brands Hatch for the first time. You go on the sim, and that first right hander down into Druids, it's it just on the sim it just seems like a little just a little drop, and it is a big elevation change, but it's all right. And then you actually go on the circuit and you're like, whoa, this is an actual, like, it's a hill. It's not just a little dip. It's a dive. It is massive.
About most tracks I've been to thus far, they all feel bigger than on the sim. Zolder, it felt quite small in real life. I mean, to walk around it as well, you cannot really go through Sector 1 that much. But for the rest, you're around pretty quickly, in my opinion. Fun experience, of course, except if there are no cars out, but it is what it is. What I found most annoying is they have quite a bit of talking points about Gilles Villeneuve losing his life there. So I appreciate that they have a memorial place. Issue is, it's at a marshal post. As a fan, you cannot get there and pay respects. Closest you can is if you go outside from the street, but then you're looking at the back of his head. So that was one quite mildly annoying point in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you probably have a key behind it to teleport back.
yeah, I do, but I forgot to take a screenshot. But that's fine. That's fine. What we were talking about is, of course, the race start as everyone lines up on their starting positions. Christian Grzybowski starting on the front row. Vasilis Penetsis alongside in that Renault Megane. And then you're going to have Anthony Hilton just a bit further back in that Hyundai Wiebe Narashto P4, Stavros Konstantinidis in P5, I think. Marcel Miku unable to get a good starting position for this race, but here we go. The 6 lights come on. And it's go time. 15 cars go roaring down towards turn 1 to start 20 minutes of racing. And it's been a decent start for Christian Grzybowski. Vasilis Penetsis not too far behind. Jeremy Kazantsis looking for an opportunity on the inside of turn 1. But no light of day found there. Christian Grzybowski around the outside now for that corner. And Vasilis Penetsis has pinched the race lead just like that. 3 cars all for the same team running in the front. Wiebe Narashto picks up P4. Marcel Miku with a decent start as well in P5. Stefan Coops up to P7. Jack Smith lost a position there on the race start. I think we can see Stefan Coops looking towards the inside there for turn number 4. It would have been a very, very interesting move if he opted to go for that opportunity, but it's a very fast right-hander. Trying to go for a move up there is virtually suicide. But here we go, Marcel Miku making some good progress early race, up to P4 already by the time they get to the first chicane of the circuit. Up and over the hill they go again, down through the is it not? No, it's not the water tower yet. We're only Hilltop Fosters down into turn 10. There's Stefan Coops again looking for an opportunity on the car ahead. Anthony Hilton holding on in the Cupra.
I mean, what a start already. Miku must be very happy that he's already got up to P4, so he's already setting his podium position up as...
Oh, no!
Oh, complete tank slapper into the wall there.
Oh,
that was
dear.
very important for him. That cost him 3 positions. He's now behind Marcel Miku. That's going to taint his confidence quite a bit. Miku, however, up into P3 right now, changing the Hyundai up ahead. He's already trying to make a move up for P2. He has the inside line for turn 1, Old Hall corner. Takes the inside, but there's still side by side. It's going to be fighting for the position into Cascades.
Oh, that was some really close racing. Marcel Miku making the most of that carnage and still applying copious amounts of pressure to Kazantsis, who's just about holding on to P2, trying to fend off a raging Marcel Miku. He wants that race win, at least a podium position, and he takes a step further on that mission and that journey. Vasilis Penetsis also looking for an opportunity at some point to retake his positions. He just went slightly too wide on the braking point for turn 15 into Druids, and he just drifted it just ever so slightly too wide, and the moment he caught the grass, that was it, straight into the wall. Do we reckon we could see a pit stop from Penetsis, or is the damage merely cosmetic?
Well, I mean, the damage isn't set to 100%, so I don't think it's worth really bidding for it. With real penalty on the server, it might be that we see some cars get drive-throughs for gutting, as Marcel Miku runs very wide there. Out of Knickerbrook. That is a very special corner name.
Yes, yes.
KN people, K-N-I-C-K-E-R. Just gonna preface that.
Had to just make sure everyone understands that.
Yeah. I mean, I was reading it, I got it out of my mouth, and then I was like, wait a second.
Wait
Sounds
a minute.
awfully close to another thing.
It's like Snetterton, there's a certain corner called Bomb Hole. And I've been at Snetterton enough times now in real life to know they talk about Bomb Hole quite a lot. But we're not at Bomb Hole now. We are at Oulton Park up in Cheshire, about 3.5 to 4 hours northwest of Snetterton, and we are currently looking at Jack Smith and Stavros Konstantinidis hanging it out for P7, but Vasilis Penetsis is now on the rear end of Jeremy Kazantsis for P3. He wants a podium position back again, but of course, them being somewhat kind of teammates, I don't see there being too massive disagreements here, but you never know between teammates, as Formula One has proved again and again and again, and I'm sure many other motorsports as well.
Oh yeah. Either way, Marcel Miku has a monumentous task to try and catch Kwiatkowski, but it's not stopping Bernetses and Kazantsis from getting ready to fight each other. I mean, they're heading to Druids right now, which is a very annoying corner in my opinion. I'm personally not the biggest fan of driving this track because most of my experiences have been in a front-wheel drive Clio Cup car, but yeah, these drivers are managing much better than I would.
Yeah, they've just been absolutely sending it. Just that last shot of Kazantsis and Penetsis, both absolutely hammering it through Druids. It's driving these cars is different to driving anything else, because the moment you put your foot down, it's understeer galore. And then it's just a matter of how much rotation did you get on corner entry and how quickly can you get out of that corner. And yeah, with these guys, you have to get the car rotated a lot before you can get onto the throttle. It's like karting almost. You do all your rotation on the braking. I mean, it should be like any other racing kind of thing, but it's just so much more important in these cars, because here you can absolutely smash your pedal. You then just need to wonder about, tyre wear and whatnot. But, it's a sprint race, so they can absolutely destroy their tyres now, which is what I love about this particular format.
I mean, if they had to buy their tires for a sim as well, it's gonna be very, very expensive.
Yeah, the main difference between sim racing and real life racing, you actually have to pay for all the damages. As I found out at a spannering session in Snetterton just the other week when one of our cars headed into a barrier backwards. But talking of going backwards, Jeremy Kazantsis is losing ground, going backwards down the grid. Wieben Arashto and Anthony Hilton waiting in the wings for an opportunity. Onto the grass goes Anthony. That was Wieben Arashto onto the grass. Sorry, Anthony Hilton have a position.
I mean, his rear tires just jumped up all of a sudden, and then he just went wide.
I think he was going for a move, but then just went a little bit too far over to the right, got into the grass, and that unsettled the rears, and it was right in the braking zone. I think that's what might have happened.
Yeah, it could be, but either way, you could tell the car was not doing well.
Yeah, because into Druids, you could take it almost as like a double apex, which means hanging wide just a little bit on that first apex. And, if you're an overtaking car, that's an opportunity there. So he might have been trying to wait for an opportunity on the right. But, of course, as you go into the right-hander, it dips over to the left. And Anthony Hilton dips over to the left-hand side of the circuit as he overtakes Jeremy Kazantsis for P4. Anthony Hilton not doing too bad as well. But yeah, speaking of Druids and Water Tower, the track goes over to the left just as you go into Druids. So it might have been he was shaping up that opportunity and then the track just ran out on him. And the driver ahead just didn't give him any space, and he just had to run out onto the grass.
Well, yeah, it happens, unfortunately, but it's not stopping anyone, as Narashto is making a move to get back up into 8th right now, so he's battling Stavros Konstantinidis. He's made the move stick. I mean, we know he has pace, but he might be overtaken again, so that might be a bad exit.
Here they are now. Stavros Konstantinidis on the inside.
All the cars look so twitchy there, man. They're all sliding, it looks like. Really being on the edge of the slip angle. But Assetto still defending there.
Yeah, somehow still ahead of Stavros Konstantinidis in the Civic. And we've also just had a couple comments in the Twitch chat. Apologies for not getting around to that. Yeah, Johnson, we really appreciate all your engagement, mate. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. I'm technically not a new commentator. I was here for the whole of season 16, but I've just not been available the first 2 races of the season. So for me, it's just been a matter of when I can actually get back on to do it. But nice to meet you, dude. It's Mida and Joe asking, what happened with Thomas Coops? I thought he was good.
Thought?
Subtle roast. I mean, speaking of roasting, Christian Krzybowski must be sweating in that racing seat because Marcel Miku is now within a second of the current race leader and evidently in a slightly faster car or a slightly better setup. Even though during qualifying Krzybowski was just so much faster, I think it's just the consistency that Marcel Miku has on this particular track and setup combo that has now contributed to really good running so far, and you can see the difference a proper racing line takes through there. Through Druids and into Lodge Corner now. It's only 0.4 seconds between Christian Krzybowski and Marcel Miku, 2 of our current championship contenders. 8 points apart in the championship right now. P2 and P3 between Miku and Krzybowski respectively, and respectfully, of course, as well. Marcel Miku closing that gap ever so slightly, almost every single corner. 0.3 seconds now, heading down Dentons and into Cascades through the left-hander. Let's see. I think he might get this move done in the next 1 or 2 laps. If he keeps it mistake-free, he's going to get this position one way or another.
I mean, he has to. Miku, he made up the gap, so he's gonna fight for it. We're halfway through the race right now, so it is very much possible. All it takes is a bit of pressure, 1 car on the grass, and it's done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we've seen happen to Wibben Rashto earlier when he tried making the move on Stefan Coops. And we've also seen that happen to... Well, who was the other victim? Was it Vasilis Panetsis in the Renault who had that incident? Yeah, it was in the Renault, wasn't it? Who went slightly wide and lost 3 positions in a single corner. Speaking of Stefan Coops, and it's Madarin Joe asking, we thought he was good. He's currently up in P6 and making up some ground, half a second off of Jeremy Kazantsis, who used to be up on the final step of the podium, but unfortunately seems to have dropped. Anthony Hilton making short work of him when he encountered him in the Cupra, and he's currently going after Vasilis Panetsis for P2. And in the meantime, Marcel Miku and Christian Krzybowski still not close enough to battle as of yet, but it's always there. The threat is always there. He's right in his rearview mirrors.
Yes, he is. I mean, the worst part to go on the grass at this track is definitely after Cascades, otherwise turn 3 where we are right now, because it goes uphill there. I've been there a few times, and I can tell you it's not easy to return from there. You usually just spin out and it's done.
Oh, Marcel Miku on the inside.
As the inside at Island Bend, and he has position. Beautiful.
Just
really,
like that.
He's just done it.
Just so casual. Our Cascades had a lovely run through Lakeside, up the inside for Island Bend, and he's got the position by the time they hit Shell Oil's corner. Beautiful, beautiful move. Textbook. Textbook. So into the race lead goes Marcel Miku, Christian Grzybowski, P2, and Vasilis Penetsis holds on to P3. That is your current podium finishing positions. Stefan Koops threatening to potentially start chasing Vasilis Penetsis at some point. He is about 3 and a bit seconds, probably more like 4 seconds behind Penetsis, and 6.5 minutes to do that. It's going to be tough, but he is on the rear end of Kazantzis. That's going to be the first step, is getting past that Hyundai, and he's looking towards the inside for Druid's Corner. Keep it nice and tidy through the water tower. Just optimize your exit through here. Keep the traction on, and that's all he's done for this. On the inside now for the next corner, Lodge Corner, and then Deer Leap. He's not quite managed to get alongside, but under braking he does. Beautiful lunge up the inside, forces the Hyundai wide, but not off the track. And there we go, side by side now as they make their way up the hill and now into Old Hall Corner again. It's the Renault on the inside. He's got that position almost sealed through turn 1. Just keep it nice and tidy. And Stefan Koops, the driver, who we were just a little earlier discussing, has shown his skill and shown his hand. P5 for him now. He's up into the top 5. 3 seconds to make up on Anthony Hilton. 5.5 minutes to do it. It's going to be a challenge.
It really is going to be Kazantzis, not his optimal race right now, but it happens. Koops, that it was just a perfect move, then he made it stick.
They seem very, very aggressive going into Druid's Corner. I think that's where the move started, really. It was Kazantzis losing a lot of grip and a lot of traction through that right-hander as he rotated the car. And the Renault just made sure the car was on the limit of the slip angle. It wasn't over it, wasn't massively under it. He kept it just right, and that's all he needed to then punch the throttle and then fire out. So, you know, he's done great there. I think he's nailed his racing lines, and he knows exactly how to drive the circuit in a way that doesn't deteriorate his tyres. And as such, now he's got just that little edge in performance over the rest of the field because he's got a little bit of extra grip since he hasn't been obliterating them through Druids.
Exactly, and I mean, I must say everybody's nailing the final corner, which is probably one of the more difficult ones since you fly into there, and once you're halfway through the corner, you usually realize it's a bit more tight than I expected. So at least those were my experiences. These guys have it mastered and figured out. Grzybowski's starting to catch up slightly to Marcel Miku.
Yeah, it's kept him within arm's reach, 0.6 seconds. And obviously, Marcel Miku's been pushing really, really hard this race, and he's made up some spectacular ground. But that makes me wonder as to the condition of his tyres. Christian Grzybowski up ahead, he's just been able to manage his pace, manage his tyres, potentially manage the wear. But I mean, Marcel Miku is just that speed demon who, regardless of tyre wear, is going to be absolutely smashing out those lap times. And he's proven it once again tonight by taking the lead after dropping all the way down to P7.
Indeed. I really hope for him he has a better race to Narashto, because he's shown he had pace at the start here today, but yeah, it's gone the same for Grzybowski. He's second behind right now.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting start though, because of course, are we? So I'm not actually sure. Do we do reverse grids on this for the second race still?
Yeah. Race 2 is reverse grid.
Yeah,
Jack's middle bit right now, so he might be DNFing.
Yeah, he started out as P7, just ahead of Koops actually, and then dropped out somewhere. I have no clue what it could be, whether it's maybe some sort of connection issue or whether it's a mechanical issue. Leila Petragia on the rampage though, on the inside for Water Tower, but that will turn into the outside for Druids, so it's just going to be a question of whether she can keep it round the outside, and she does. Lovely work, and in that very nice blue livery that seems to be quite new for this season, the Hot Wheels Hellraiser livery scheme. I love it, blue
Also,
and purple.
the sole
Oh
Alfa Romeo
yeah,
track.
yeah, that's right. The only, yeah. I mean, technically, we as the commentary booth enter in the other Alfa Romeo. So technically, there's two, but I mean, we don't show up on the leaderboard,
Only one's
so
on
we don't
track.
really count. Yeah, on track is the more accurate term. But I think if we keep an eye on the pit lane as we go past it at some point, you might just about notice a white, green, and red one. That's where the commentary booth is. We're literally right inside that car now. We've got the mics hanging from the roll cage.
Exactly. By the way, Kizantzis might... I mean, he's been in that place and in that gap for a while, but it seems like Goose made a slight mistake there, but saved it again on the exit. He's actually gaining a bit more time. So...
Yeah, I
you
don't
never
know, though.
TCRs.
Yeah, anything could happen. Just a single mistake could upend all of it. And with less than a minute to go, Marcel Miku is now making his way down through Cascades and down Lakeside. He's had an absolutely massive run today. As usual, doing really well to recover from a bad starting position, so to speak. Not terrible, but definitely not ideal and suboptimal, shall we say, starting position. And now he's found his way up to the top step of the podium with relatively little effort within 20 minutes, and he will soon be able to enjoy the fruits of his labour. Christian Grzybowski, who started the race in P1, dropping down to P2, he's just trying to hold on to any kind of point advantage over the rest of the grid. Marcel Miku, he might have to let go of that for now. He's got a 2-second gap to him. I think it's pretty much over, but of course we've still got Druids Corner and Lodge Corner to go before we hit the end of the lap.
I mean, those two are really, really big time killers, so... Don't think Miku will be making the mistake. I think he'll be taking it fairly easy into there as he just slides on through. Will he slide through the next corner? That's the real question.
I mean, he doesn't really need to. Leila Petragia in the background picks up P10 as well. Petragia did really well this race. She's made some good progress as well. But here we go. Marcel Miku now across the line to take the race win here at Oulton Park. The first race of today. Christian Grzybowski P2 and Vasilis Panetsis yet to cross the line in the Renault. He's also done really well to maintain that position after an earlier blunder. Anthony Hilton also some good progress. Stefan Coops showing some good pace today, up in the top 5. Kazantzis, a mistake, dropping him down to P6. Same for Wieben Arashto, down to P7 from where he was potentially looking at a podium finishing position, but unfortunately his luck ran out. Stavros Konstantinidis also for that white, blue and red squad. Thomas Coops, I'm assuming brother to Stefan Coops, comes across in P9. Leila Petragia in that Hellraiser livery Alfa Romeo, the only Alfa currently out on circuit, in P10 to round out our top 10, coming around the final corner now. Luis Rubiales will come in P11, Theodore Petro P12, Nikita Deravianko in P13, and then Avidas Kvedaravicius in P14. That's a mouthful and a half, with Jack Smith unfortunately retiring.
I mean, what a race. I do have to say what am I saying, Aston? The Alfa Romeo kind of looks like a Volkswagen Fun Cup car. I don't know if anybody here knows that car, but it genuinely looks like it. And I once tried a mod for it around the Assetto Corsa, and it was horrid to drive.
What, the Fun Cup or the Alfa Romeo?
The Fun Cup. I mean, any TCR on my eyes is abominable to drive. I hate front-wheel drive.
I mean, they look fun.
Rear-wheel drive, alright. Front-wheel drive, I cannot get up to grips with it. There's one Peugeot 205 GTI Cup mod out there that I can sort of get along with, but these TCRs, as everybody could tell, Barcelona last season, not my cup of tea.
Yeah, you did seem to be struggling there slightly, but I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe next time we hit Barcelona, you could do some practice just for the last race of the season, which I don't think is at Barcelona this time. It's at Long Beach.
I try to avoid these cars as much as possible, especially if it's going to be Long Beach.
Oh, can you imagine that final hairpin trying to get the car rotated for that?
I mean, it should be fairly doable, but yeah, sometimes everybody's line deviates there and you just get hit out.
Yeah, you're just hoping for a clean hairpin. You're hoping for no one else facing the wrong direction or parking the car.
Exactly.
So then, that concludes the first race of round 3, one of 2. We've still got another 20 minutes of racing action to go. At the moment, Marcel Miku taking the race win, Christian Grabowski P2, Vasilis Penetsis P3, and this should put Marcel Miku in good stead for the championship, since Tassos Sklias isn't there to rack up some points for himself. And of course, now he's got an opportunity to do that all over again, but he's got a little bit more work to do since the grid is going to be reversed, unless that was the whole... unless that's maybe why he didn't put in as much... sorry, I'm not speaking properly. My brain's tired. Unless he didn't put as much effort into qualifying, and as such is now kind of mid-pack, so he doesn't have to do as much work in the second race. But I don't think it was kind of he was holding back. It was more just he ended it early.
Yes, either way, Marcel Miku starting on the reverse race pole, which will be very interesting. Petralia on the pole in general, and I think she'll be able to hold off the other drivers for a little while, but we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. The reverse grid always makes for a very interesting race start. Speaking of interesting, we've also got some interesting chats going on Twitch. We do thank you guys for your engagement, and I'm loving the friendly roasts and the friendly chatter. It's Madarin Joe saying he... wait, hang on. Let me just track this, because a lot has happened since I last checked the chat. Something about smoke. Yeah, Johnson picking up on the disrespect. It's Madarin Joe saying smoked him in a different championships, friendly smoke. Thomas Coops was really good before, almost always top 3. And then Johnson looking for a Swedish flag, which actually turns out to be Dutch, so he might be Max Verstappen's cousin. We don't know. All I know is Thomas Coops is starting on the front row of the grid, and if he's as good as the Twitch chat is saying, he could potentially be holding on to that for a potential podium finishing position and potentially a race win if he can get this start nailed. We've been Rashto waiting in the wings in P4 with Stavros Konstantinidis in P3. But here we go. The lights come on and it is go time. 15 cars go roaring down towards turn 1 for a second time this evening. 20 minutes to go. Leila Petragia keeps the car in the middle of the circuit. Stavros Konstantinidis gets a good start and immediately takes a P2. Jeremy Kazantsis in the Hyundai behind, looking for an opportunity, and Thomas Coops has fallen down the grid. Terrible race start for him, but Kazantsis capitalizing on the rest of the chaos, and I did forget to put that on again. I'm sorry. I always do this. I'm too engrossed in the actual race start. Kazantsis up into P2. Stavros Konstantinidis down to P3. Leila Petragia did well to hold on to the race lead. Wieben Arashto made up some good progress, and Thomas Coops dropped down the grid down to P5. Nikita Derevyanko picks up P6. Penetsis P7. Marcel Miku down in P8, already looking for an opportunity to improve, and Luis Rubiales looking for an opportunity on Jack Smith for P9. Christian Grabowski waiting in the wings in P11, 3 spots behind his current championship rival. And Louis has got an opportunity here. But first we look at Wieben Arashto and Stavros having a go at it into Hillops, turn 10, 11 and 12. A little bit of contact there, and that sent the Civic slightly wide, but he's managed to get it back over in time for that right-hander. But here comes Nikita Derevyanko, and he's just absolutely flown by. Sorry, that was Thomas Coops who flew by both of them. taking advantage of all that carnage. Up into P3 he goes, and slightly wide. Oh my goodness, that's a second Megane we've seen into the wall at Druids, and we get a lovely view of his steering wheel. Very interesting camera angle there. As Stavros Konstantinidis then assumes P3 once again. We've been Rasho P4. Thomas Coops had such an opportunity there, but he overcooked it into Druids. I
mean, that's very, very unfortunate to see, but yeah, Marcel Miku kind of getting the rhythm dialed in right now. He didn't have the start I expected him to have, like he usually does, but right now with the Cascades, he's going to try and send it down the inside. A bit far back. Oh, no, it's not his. It's not his.
He was putting some good pressure on the inside, though, but another pressure that we're talking about is Jeremy Kazantsis on Leila Petrega for the race lead. We'll keep an eye on Marcel Miki, who's almost heading into the same section of track. He was putting some pressure on the inside corner there through Cascades, hoping for a mistake or a wide line, but Panettis did not buckle under the pressure. Very, very cool head held by that Megane driver.
I mean, Petralia is a very aggressive driver, sometimes in a very positive manner, sometimes it goes wrong, but I know on defense right now it will most likely cost Kazantsis enough for Narashto and Stavros to hopefully catch up and bring a better fight to the front.
Yeah, 2.5 seconds though, that's a big gap to try and essentially build up or kind of hold back. And with someone like Kazantsis behind who's just applying constant pressure, it's not going to be easy. They picked the right circuit for doing this, though. It is quite narrow, isn't it?
It is. Still luckily quite a few overtaking opportunities, but right now it's looking like Petralia really has a pace down together with Kazantsis, so don't think we'll have a battle like fully hands-on contacts and all very soon, as I might have nearly jinxed it there, or it looked like that. But no, I think they both have their strengths around this track, and it's going to keep complementing each other in fairly regular and the same lap times, as Petralia is actually starting to run away slightly.
But then it's a question of who behind is closing on the race leaders. Christian Grzybowski, for one, is up to P8. Marcel Miku just made the move up for P5. And Kazantsis has just dropped back slightly after a mistake into turn 5. So with all these moving parts, I reckon that kind of, I don't want to say illusion, but that kind of current image of, oh, we're fine. You know, we're just ahead of Kazantsis, we're ahead of Konstantinidis by a decent margin and a consistent margin. They're not taking Marcel Miku and Panettis and Christian Grzybowski into account, because Grzybowski is now about to make the move on Jack Smith, almost does it for P7. You know, with these cars coming up the grid, 15 minutes is still quite a lot of time for them to make up about a 4-second gap. Bearing in mind that was a gap between P4 and P6 last race at some point.
Thing is, all it takes is one mistake, so that makes it really, really exciting, in my opinion, to see what will maybe happen, or what won't happen, of course. That's also a possibility. But I think everybody behind Kazantsis is pretty much in a battle with each other. I mean, there are a few bigger gaps there, but it's still going to cost time towards the front, and yeah, after a while it really doesn't pay off well.
I mean, one driver who's trying to keep that in mind is Christian Grzybowski. He's trying to make quick work of Jack Smith, but Smith's not making it easy. He had to go at him into turn 1 and into the final corner, actually, but there was a bit of argy-bargy, and at the end of it, he's come out on top, fortunately. So Grzybowski up to P7 now. He's making some progress up the grid, just 2 positions behind Marcel Miku, but about 3 seconds back from this blue Civic. And we've also got Weben Rashto to keep in mind here. P4 in that pink Audi, gaining on Stavros Konstantinidis, 2.5 seconds. Oh, and a mistake from the Civic ahead has allowed Narashto through into P3 and Marcel Miku up into P4. Now it's a question of whether Grzybowski can take advantage of a very slow-moving Panettis, but I think he's built up enough momentum by that point to be safe when they hit that first chicane. But yeah, Weber Narashto now up into the final podium position. Marcel Miku only one position off that, and Konstantinidis carried through to P5.
Well, I mean, I think Miku will have the pace to catch Narashto, but Narashto won't make it easy for him. Also, I must say, out of all the TCRs, I enjoy looking at the Audi the most. I think it's a very beautiful car.
I'm just looking for the same blue, white, and red livery that we see on Kazantzis, Konstantinidis, and Skelias' cars on the Audi, because there's a sick profile picture of that in the content manager. One sick picture is Marcel Miku. That's a terrifying picture, actually, to have him in your rear view mirrors, especially heading down towards Cascades and Dentons, which is why Weber Narashto just let him through by the time they get to the braking point. He's like, sorry, mate, you just crack on. You do you. I'm not going to get in your way. He drops down to P4, and Marcel Miku has made his way into the podium finishing positions with 12 minutes to go.
Well, I think it's a smart thing. He can... Petralia's off. Petralia loses P1. It's one mistake and it's over.
No!
All the way down to P7. That's very unfortunate.
Oh, as you were saying, one mistake is all it takes. And that's all it took to lose 6 positions. And now, of course, because of that little slide, all the tyres are going to be absolutely boiling. They're all going to be overcooking. So for the next couple laps, she's going to have to take it nice and easy on those.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is not good. I mean, she had a good gap. She could have cruised to the win, like she has done a few times as a Konstantinidis gives a position. She could have gone for the win because of the reverse grid pole, like she has done a few times before, but yeah.
I don't know,
though.
Marcel Miku in P2, he's looking very, very racy, as is Christian Grzybowski, who's made his way up into P5 now, past Stavros Konstantinidis, and he's now closing on that gap to Vasilis Penetsis. So I think it was more just a matter of time before someone was going to come by. But I mean, the one variable there would be how hard she defends, though.
Yeah, Miku as well with the fastest lap right now, and he's closing that gap down massively. He's really gonna try to make everything work in the second half of race 2.
I mean, he's in a very decent position here, P2, just ahead of Weber Narashto, who's P4 in the championship, so he's not really a factor. And Christian Grzybowski, his nearest championship contender, is a little further down. Vasilis Penetsis has made a mistake. The Megane is off at turn 5. Very similar incident to Leila Petralia, and he rejoins now in, wow, further than P10. He's now down to P11. Yikes. He's also dropped about 7 positions in exactly the same place that we saw Petralia lose it.
It's something with that corner, man. Also, those cars take quite a bit of curb there, grass even, through that chicane.
Oh,
and
yeah.
TCR is cut as much as you can, but Jesus, surprised they're not getting any corner cut warnings from that.
Yeah, it is quite a lot of curb they're taking on there, but it is so low speed that it's low speed and their cars can deal with it very, very well. So, you know, why not just use that? But they can't cut the corner here, because the moment they do, they're going to lose all that traction through the right hand, and they're going to lose all that grip and slide out into the wall, as we've seen Penettis and Scoops do. Anthony Hilton chops to the inside on the start of the straight, but is unable to do anything with that position. It looks like a throwaway fight for P8 now. Nikita Derevyanko in the Audi ahead. Thomas Coops in P9. Anthony Hilton P10, and Penettis is just about getting involved in the background. In the meantime, Marcel Miku is now coming up on the race leader here as well. We'll keep an eye on Coops from his point of view, but here we go. Marcel Miku once again up the inside of Island Bend, and it is the second time this evening that he's made that move for the race lead. Marcel Miku takes the race lead from Jeremy Kazantzis in race 2 of round 3. He is looking on fire tonight.
He really is. I mean, flying today. It's unreal what that Civic is doing, as we have 4 cars bunched up right here. Nikita Derevyanko trying to send a move on Thomas Coops there. Didn't
This
work.
is stunning.
Whoa.
I mean, look at that four-way fight for P8. Nikita Derevianko in the front in the Audi. Thomas Coops slipped through to take P7. Anthony Hilton also involved there in the Cupra, looking to the inside. The Audi tries to cover him off, or look at an opportunity on the Renault on the inside. There's Penetsis in the background making a move. Takes the opportunity afforded to him by Anthony Hilton. Some sort of miracle slipped through without taking anyone else out. And now they're all heading into Druids. This is going to be crazy.
On the inside,
no!
Oh, there's luckily not too much gravel for Nikita there, but quite a few positions lost.
Utter
I mean,
carnage.
Look at the amount of cars right there, right now. That is absolutely amazing. Please keep on fighting. It's like a DRS train.
That is nuts. So we had, who was it? Nikita Derevianko dropping out. He went off into the gravel. So did Anthony Hilton. No, actually, Anthony Hilton was fine. It might have been Penettis, actually, who did that. Thomas Coops has just kept it clean. He's been at the front of that little pack. Anthony Hilton slipped through. He just about held on to a position. Jack Smith is the one that's gained the most out of that situation. Leila Petragia somewhere has lost a load of positions again and is up to P10. She was down to P7 earlier, but now in P10, so somehow lost some positions somewhere. And then, of course, you've got the other cars involved, Vasilis Penetsis and Nikita Derevianko, who had the contact into Druid's corner. I do wonder, though, whether I maybe called that, and somewhat commentator cursed it. Anthony Hilton applying some good pressure to Thomas Cooks into the second chicane. Same with Petragia, really, on the inside, but she's actually made that move stick. Jack Smith having to concess that position. Concede? I think concede is actually the right word for that. Anthony Hilton, though, looking for an opportunity here again, keeping it on the outside of turn 14. The Megane covers him off into Druids. How that will affect his next corner, though, is the big question. The Cupra keeping it nice and tight through there, but I think he has lost some time on the exit. He's able to plant his foot a little bit earlier, though, and he's gaining on that black Megane ahead. How long before he comes past, do we reckon?
I mean, 5 minutes left in this race. Krzyzewski is getting very close to Rashto again, who's in P3, so there might be five doing there. What a save by Thomas Coops. That was breathtaking.
Absolutely stunning reflexes from Coops to keep that car on the track. I mean, he was fully sideways. We just see Nikita Derevianko also completely sideways and keeping the car just about on circuit, but suffering a little more under the hand of Stefan Coops and Leila Petragia, who take advantage of a sideways Audi. Meanwhile, Anthony Hilton is just still chopping away at Thomas Coops and unable to get past.
I mean, we still have that train of cars. I really hope they keep fighting until the end, because that would be a pretty beautiful picture, especially if it's a photo finish.
Oh, I reckon it could be.
Manifesting it, by the way.
I believe. But then again, there's the infamous commentator's curse. Christian Grzybowski chops to the inside, looking for an opportunity at a podium here. Wiebe Narashto holds it straight. A mistake at Druid's corner, and that's cost him P3. Christian Grzybowski up into the final podium position, and he's now in P3. Wiebe Narashto down to P4, but that battle still rages downhill. Anthony Hilton and Thomas Cooks have swapped positions. Anthony Hilton finally making the move. Coops looking towards the inside. Oh, it was a sideways Anthony. Jack Smith also in the scrap here. 3 cars heading down towards turn 1. Could this be 3 wide into the first right-hander of the circuit? 4 minutes ago, these 3 will be absolutely sending it through the next couple corners, and I have no clue where this is going to go.
I don't think anybody has a clue, because it keeps getting crazier and crazier, and on and on and on. It's insane. I also like that carbon livery on that Renault there. It's really nice.
Sometimes just keeping it simple works better. Just keeping it plain and simple, nothing too crazy.
For being a full carbon fiber livery, it still looks better than the SF26. So, controversial opinion out there.
I'm just seeing a really, maybe controversial comment in the Twitch chat saying, from online Joey, Thomas Coops fumbles more than my Afghanistan homie searching for girls in a bar. I have never heard that saying before.
That's a one in a lifetime sentence. Nobody has ever heard that in their entire lifetime.
But I am going to make that a new saying that I will put in my streams. No, I'm joking. Maybe, I don't know. There could be a very, very niche situation where I might have to use it, and I'll just change the first name.
Is it going to be the new defenestrating? Defenestrating, I mean.
Oh yes, maybe. Or I just love. I was thinking of an opportunity to use the word dingus. Which I don't know. I'm just obsessed with Jimmy Broadbent's vocabulary whenever he's doing his sim racing stewards. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to call people helmets and dinguses, I guess. Or the resafe jointly. That's another favourite one. There was another phrase, but I just couldn't quite remember what it was. Oh, Thomas Coops sliding through cascades, doesn't keep the car in check, just about keeps it on track, but loses out to Jack Smith. Easy position gained for Mr. Smith in the Audi up to P8. He goes. That might be one of the final overtakes we see for this race, to be honest, because we have 2 minutes to go. And Marcel Miku is currently in the race lead. Jeremy Kazantzis, P2, and Christian Kuszbowski, your top 3. Narasho and Konstantinidis rounding out your top 5. Well, Smith and Coops fight it out for P8. Oh, and Anthony Hilton off on the grass. And he's lost both of those positions. I think Anthony Hilton fumbled harder than your Afghanistan homie, my dude. He has now just had a generational fumble there and lost out 2 positions. Anthony Hilton down to P9, just keeping it within the top 10. It'll be a miracle if he can get back past Smith for P7.
It will be a miracle, but miracles can always happen, as Marcel Miku right now is on the final lap of the race. He's been cruising at an absolutely rapid pace, 9 seconds almost to P2, so what a race for him.
Oh, it can't have worked out better. It cannot have worked out better for this man. On the one day that Sklius isn't there to challenge him, he takes advantage of it, and he's going to get 2 P1 finishes. That is going to be double points for Marcel Miku if he can keep it on track and get it to the end of this race. 100 points gained for Miku, which would put him ahead of Sklius in the championship by about 60 points. Online Joey correcting his statement from earlier, searching for goats. Yeah. So I did wonder. That was a very weird phrase. I was not quite sure how that was going to happen, but I think because of that, I might just keep it on as one of my favorite phrases now. The correct terminology is Thomas Coops fumbles more than my Afghanistan homie searching for goats in a bar, not girls.
Either way, we're looking at Miku right now, who's going to round up the final corner. Brilliant win for him here today, as he's going to cross the finish line. Saying it calmly, I mean, there's no pressure for him right now. Just cruising through. Beautiful
win. But in the meantime, we've had Anthony Hilton stranded at the side of the road. There was contact between himself and I think it might have been Jack Smith for P7, and there was contact there, and he's just gone straight off the racing circuit and off into a couple of the barriers. So that is his race over. Terrible result, unfortunately. Anthony Hilton right at the end on the final lap, losing out and having to retire from the race. As we go through the rest of the grid, here comes Thomas Coops and Vasilis Penetsis, P8 and P9. Stefan Coops in the other Renault, now marching across the line in P10. Leila Petragia, race leader for a while, across the line in P11. Nikita Derevyanko, P12, and Louis Rubiales bringing it home in P13. The two retirements will be Anthony Hilton and then one other driver who I'm not exactly sure the name of.
I must say, though, Jack Smith, brilliant recovery from race 1, where he was last in the pits, kind of a DNF, but he's made it work right now, and the P7 for him today is really a testament of what he's capable of.
Yeah, fantastic work from him. So yeah, that concludes race 2 of round 3 here at the Phoenix SimSport TCR Championship, or TCR Challenge, I see they've called it. I mean, there are 10 rounds of racing, so I'm not quite sure it's just a challenge, but it surely is for some of our drivers. And for Marcel Miku, it's been a challenge so far this season, as himself, Petragia, and Narashto join us in the commentary box. Welcome, guys.
Yep.
Oh, hello.
How are you all doing this evening?
I was doing better.
Not exactly in the high spirits after the second run, but happy nonetheless.
Well, then my first question is to you, Marcel. Why are you in the high spirits after 2 brilliant race wins?
Well, I'm just happy that I managed to get the double victory after all the struggles that I've gone through. Albeit, I'm not sure if the second one's probably going to count after what's happened.
Care to elaborate?
Say that again?
Care to elaborate? Expand a bit on that statement?
Well, it all happened in the race start. There was, like, lap 1, turn 1, there was an incident in front of me. I slowed down to avoid it. And then I have 2 people pass me under yellow, one of which I inevitably end up killing.
And do you think
Other
that
than
might
that,
give you
I mean,
a
it was
big penalty?
scruffy, I will say that, but I had fun.
All right. Any questions from you, Yanis?
Well, first of all, how's the setup feeling this time round? Because last time we chatted, you said you kind of had the setup all sorted out. Does that feel like the case for season 17 so far?
I think so. With the inspiration that I managed to get from some of the guys out there, the setup actually does feel quite stable.
Cool. Good.
And I'm looking forward to try carry on the fight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've done really well to make some progress on Sklias tonight. I mean, he was ahead by 20 points. He's going to be behind by 60 points now, heading into round 4. So the one time that he was not around, you did capitalise on that. So hats off to you, sir. You've done incredibly well. And I think you are in good stead for the rest of the championship, really. Then it's going to be about maintaining that lead, I guess, which you're not new to at all, to be fair.
I mean, we'll see what happens. With Macau next up, it's going to be a tricky round, quite narrow towards the middle part of the track. And especially with some of the barriers, it's quite likely that if it's going like 2 wide or 3 wide, there might be a chance someone's going to get pinched into one of the barriers sticking out. And, well, that'll essentially be a run over for them. So we'll see how it goes. I know Group 3s do race there, so I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting one.
Absolutely. Speaking of interesting, Weaver Narashto, your race was very, very interesting today. You seem to be, sometimes you seem to be up near the podium, and then sometimes it seemed you'd be mid-pack, and then all of a sudden we see you popping out in this massive battle in the mid-pack. How would you describe your races today?
Surprisingly, I got 2 great starts for my standard, because normally I get bogged down in these cars, so that helped a lot, because after turn 1, if you are ace, 9, or 10s, you are inevitably going to be just involved in all sorts of chaos.
Mm,
But I think overall my pace is just 7th. But then because people decide to make mistakes or do things, so yeah, I got a better result in race 2.
Okay, and are you happy with your performance today? How do you think this will influence the rest of your season?
I'm not very happy with getting a 4th because I definitely don't have the pace to be 4th on pure pace. But yeah, I mean, if I can battle inside the top 10, then I'm happy. So I am happy.
Okay, that's great to hear. Any questions from you, Arthur?
Race 1. How did that crash happen in your perspective?
So I believe it was what's his name? I believe it was Jeremy Kazan. It was Jeremy who basically went off in the second chicane. So I think it was Panetis who got around him, but my exit was compromised because he was kind of returning from the grass. Then I was trying to because before the double right-hander, the straight isn't straight. Like you go right, you go left, you go right. So I kind of just misjudged under the braking though, so I braked on the grass. So I just went off myself. It wasn't his fault because he definitely left me enough space, but it was difficult to judge because we were not going in a straight line because the track isn't straight. But yeah, after that, I just settled down in P8 until a certain Jack Smith decided to put in 7 fewer minutes of fuel in his car, so then I got 7s.
All right. Then on to Leila Petralia. My first question is about race 2. You had a brilliant start, but all of a sudden, at the hairpin, you were off. What happened there?
It's simply that it's about the 6th time that I do the same mistake. I go I will do that corner full throttle. Most of the times it will go, and sometimes some laps it decided the car that more understeer was necessary than usual, and I will just go on the grass with the 2 right tires, and yeah, the car just becomes uncontrollable.
All right.
That's about it. And then, well, a few people decided that taunting me was the right thing to do, but what can you do about it, I guess?
Yep. Any questions from you, Yanis?
Yeah, so in that initial incident, you dropped down to P7, which is obviously a massive shame, but then further on the race, we noticed you were down in P10 and then P11. What happened there? We didn't quite catch any of that action. Was it, again, just more mistakes?
It was turn 2 where the car took a bump differently than usual, and it just again 2 tires on the grass, car spins round, and what can you do about it?
Yeah.
But overall, the pace was there, just the result was poor. Hopefully, I can get something better in the next races, even though Macau is not my favorite. But
I mean, looking at the the current calendar, are there any particular races that each of you are looking forward to? I mean, maybe Marcel Miki, you can kick us off. Which race is looking to be your strongest in the next few weeks?
I'd say Tor Poznan definitely looks interesting. Obviously, Macau is going to be an interesting one as well, especially with the barriers. For La Stick Spring, the track might be a bit bumpy, so maybe might need to get that looked into. But I mean, I think it is drivable. It's just a bit bumpy in some of, or a bit over bumpy in some of the sections.
Yeah.
Magni, I mean, it's a twisty one, but fun. Then Most, it's a TCR track. I know that one's quite well, and it's my home track, so I'm looking forward to do well on that one. With Okayama, we've done that one before. It's going to be an interesting one. Then Long Beach for the final, bumpy, but again, with these cars, should be manageable.
Okay.
But
Good.
I'm definitely looking forward to the next 2 rounds with Macau and Poznan.
Yeah, they will definitely make for some interesting content. Any kind of tracks for you guys? Narashto, Petragia? Any tracks to stand out?
Magni and Okayama. That's it.
Okay, so round 7 and 9, a bit more towards the end of the season is where you're looking at your performance then.
I mean, I'm not gonna fight for the championship anyway. I'm like, 3 rounds less than everybody else, so I'm just doing it for fun.
Okay. And how about yourself, Narashto? Any tracks that are standing out to you at the moment?
I have never driven a TCR car on any of the remaining 7 tracks, so if I do race, they will all be a new experience for me.
To be honest, yeah, a lot of these do sound very new to me. So it's going to be great for us commentators to learn some new tracks and some new stuff. So Arthur, any final questions to close?
No final questions from me.
No final questions from you. Any final questions from you, drivers?
What?
It was just a joke. But thank you guys so much for joining us here at Phoenix SimSport for round 3 of the TCR Championship Season 17. And we have another 6 races to go in the upcoming 7 weeks. We do have a mid-season break between rounds 5 and 6, Tor Poznan and Lausitz-Ring. So we won't have any racing there, but you will have some other racing action to look forward to, I'm sure, by the time we hit February. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next week. This has been Yanis, this has been Arthur, this has been Phoenix SimSport for round 3 at Oulton Park. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next week in Macau. Good night.
Good morning.